Welcome to a new Daily Top AskReddit video. Today's topic.
What screams, I don't actually love my partner. Ignoring their feelings or brushing off things that really matter to them. Exactly, being ignored hurts more than being argued with. It's crazy how silence can feel louder than shouting sometimes. Putting their partner on the back burner as far as their wants, needs go. Everyone else, friends, family, comes first. Yeah, my ex always worried about me acting like the perfect, most social and polite saint in front of his family and friends. Got mad if I didn't say or do the right things to them. But didn't even give a thought to how they treated me, whether they greeted or talked to me at all. It was only my responsibility. Glad he's an ex! Exclamation mark. Loving what they do for you, not really, them. It took me 15 years to truly accept this was how my ex felt. It took me that long because I didn't think I deserved better and I hoped things would change. I wasn't perfect, but it was really hard to want to be better or to try when it felt like I was a servant, and if I stopped serving, the relationship would end. Treating them like shit, especially in front of other people. I have been in relationships and seen other relationships where one person will make their partner feel stupid or small in front of their friends just for some sick sense of approval, or to make themselves look better. Shit is gross and sad. Saw this in real time with coworkers and I couldn't help but think, geez. If he treats her like that in public, it's always worse behind closed doors. I am lucky enough to have left the person that treated me like that, grew up enough to realize that I have worth and that I matter, and now I am with someone who would never treat me like shit just to impress other people. She would never treat me like shit, period. And I am mature enough to give her the same love and respect that I receive every moment of my life. I just hope that other people can do the same and move on from relationships like that. It breaks my heart to see it. Humiliating them in public and pretending it's joking. Looking at a phone while they're talking. I absolutely hate witnessing this. When we plans turn into I plans real fast. Oof, yes. Once surprised my ex with tickets to go see a band we liked. Without telling me first, he invited his friend to use my ticket and then went with him instead while I watched the kids. That's wild. Exploding head, what an asshole. When you politely ask them to stop doing something and they just continue to do it. Or they do it even harder now to teach you a lesson for challenging them. Putting undue stress and strain on their shoulders because you can't be bothered to behave like an adult. I can still remember a coworker of mine who was saying how great his fiancée was because of how much she does. She worked longer hours, cooked, cleaned, took care of the pets, all that. The more he said, the wider my eyes got. All I could think was do a day. She left him 2 months later. All I could think was good for her. It's so great having a new mother to cater to my every need. I love her so much. Quote, oh, I like this one. I was like, why am I tired all the time? Oh yeah, I'm having all your problems and barely getting to mine. I'm in this situation and I resent I don't love them the same. Their ability to push aside their own needs for the sake of their partner. I see a lot of folks who are so confident and intent about making sure boundaries are set in relationships. And while I certainly agree there should be some level of boundaries, part of being in love is being able to be flexible when needed. Some days just suck, some days you're sick, sometimes things come up and you need help from your partner to get through whatever it is. And I see a lot of friends of mine who have partners who are just like, well, that's your problem, you figure it out, and I can't wrap my head around why they stay with them. Yeah, some people confuse independence with indifference. Big difference. 100% my husband and I are both internal processes and also pretty independent by nature, so often we do things on our own. But when one of us isn't doing well, we're always there for support or just to cheer one another up. Yeah, boundaries should be used for keeping the relationship healthy, not as an excuse for someone to be emotionally distant or not help when needed. When one partner doesn't feel they can talk to the other about issues in the relationship for fear the other will get angry or defensive. Or just feel really bad about it. Every time I tried to address a tiny thing, no matter how careful I did it, my ex would shut down and fall into a self-hate spiral telling me how he just sucks so much and is literally the worst person alive. I wasn't able to talk about anything because I was busy trying to help him deal with his feelings. Even when I said what I wanted, nothing ever changed. He was unable to properly talk about it, so I just stopped trying. When I talked about wanting to break up, he was suddenly able to talk about it though. A book I read, ADHD and Us, mentions this behavior, criticism of a specific behavior turning into an attack on them and their sense of self-worth. I'm not saying your partner had, but mine does, and does this self-hate spiral as a response to criticism and is prone to negative emotional spiraling. It helped to know this behavior is common enough and associated with a brain disorder, but it does suck to be like, can you make this change, and have that turn into, you think so little of me, do you even like me, ugh, everything is terrible, and I just have soothed them when I'm the one that was bothered and requested a behavioral change. It sucks. So many of the behaviors that bothered me were mentioned in the book as ADHD behaviors. You gently try to bring up some small thing and they just spiral. You then spend the next several days managing their feelings and building them back up. It's exhausting. Let the resentment build. Trying to love an avoidant is usually really painful. I've been doing that for 5 years. Today is our anniversary. I've been crying a lot. Facing facts and loving an anxious will drain your soul, patience, and energy. We all need to work on those things. Let's not demonize avoidance. Anything but a secure attachment is not acceptable. Saying, I love you, but doing nothing that shows love for their partner. Yep, saying, I love you, daily doesn't hit the same when everything else screams, I don't. When they want a round of applause for doing something basic and say they did it for you. I've loaded the dishwasher for you. No. You loaded the dishwasher, it's an everyday task. I don't have this issue with my wife but see it so much in her friends' partners. OMG, I needed to tell my ex 1,000 times to take the trash out because he was too lazy to do that and blamed his ad all the time. When I said something about the trash suddenly I'm the annoying intolerant person because I don't respect his ad. F this guy, just tell me what to do. Ugh, you're so bossy. Happens in my work life as a manager constantly too. How was I supposed to know what to do? Tells them what to do asterisk, wow what a bitch, no winning. Random person W ad here. WTG dropping that guy. Yes, tasks like that can be ridiculously hard for us. Also, we have the capacity to do them. You are absolutely in the right to maintain your expectations. Deleted. Some people have a higher tolerance for mess and disorder. The use your eyes advice is not helpful for them. I find lists, like on my phone or a shared whiteboard, are extremely helpful for planning and establishing routines. As soon as I see we're low on something, I just add it to the list instead of fretting. Making it clear who is responsible for certain things also helps. I can plan out my week, do chores as I need to, and relax without the nagging feeling of procrastination. Not every chore has to be an argument or negotiation. I'm not the manager. One article one read on this that really resonated with me is that if you were the manager and actually did have to be responsible for identification and delegation, the actual chore load should be 70/30ths with you doing the 30. But that dynamic isn't really going to fly in a household anyways. Ignoring boundaries, especially when they are really serious about their own boundaries not being crossed but ignoring yours. Ah yes, my ex in a nutshell. If someone asks them what they like about their they only describe how that person makes their life easier. Or for me it was how attractive I am, which was flattering at first, but I started to realize they didn't actually like me at all. When you take a back seat to everything else in their life. My last ex wouldn't usually invite me to things with his friends, always seemed to have something on weekends, texting habits were infrequent and sporadic, and felt like the relationship ran on his time. When I first noticed this and brought it up, he broke up with me maybe a month or two later. So yay, don't think he genuinely liked me. My current partner actively has had me meet his close friends, hangs out with me on both weekdays, weekends, and wants to see me. I remember having a bit of insecurity and was struggling with it, so I told him he didn't have to invite me, but he made it clear he wanted me there. It goes to show my current partner actually enjoys my presence and cares about me. Actions speak louder than words. No matter what kind of nice things they say, if their actions don't match up to it, they don't really mean it. Everything feels one-sided. Nothing like buying well-planned out gifts or planning dates and the other person just showing up and being indifferent. I overheard my ex's best friend once saying, I could leave Jeef's name tomorrow and not shed a single tear, not ever think about her again. I'm just being honest. They're now married with kids, upside down face. Dude, right? I have someone I know who says shit like this. I don't ever want to be on the receiving end of this. I never felt comfortable around him again. We used to all go camping together and I just felt so sad for her. Majority of my friends all married, had kids with their first girlfriend in their early 20s. They all found their soulmate on the first try. Just kidding, most of them can't stand each other lol, but then ask me why I am single at 29 and happier than ever. No small attentions, no compliments, no efforts whatsoever. It's not always super obvious because they can still be nice, go along with whatever plans you make, be good company. But they never initiate anything. This is why I broke up with my ex. I can't say he was a bad guy, but just because someone doesn't necessarily treat you bad doesn't mean they treat you good, either. And of course he reached out to me a few days ago saying he realized he messed up and wants another shot of us together again. Too late. Cheating. Ah yes, the universal language of, I don't actually love you. Reading every single one of these reminds me of my ex. Same, and my parents. Same LMAO. Shutting him down or ignoring them whenever they try to speak. Being casually cruel about them to other people, they're useless, I can't stand them, etc. Publicly berating them. The whole, in sickness and in health, really puts things into perspective. My cousin and his wife had been married for almost 20 years. She got into a car accident with a semi and now can't walk and has limited function and speech. He left her within a year. I feel this one in my soul. My wife was constantly using her mental health as a crutch. I don't mean that to sound demeaning. MH is a serious thing, to get out of taking responsibility, not just in our relationship, but as an individual too. Anytime there was something she needed to take care of for herself, she'd push me to do it for her, or to use most of my energy helping her, catching up on all she'd missed when she dropped out of school, for example. I would do what I could because I cared about her, but she'd get real argumentative if I wasn't feeling up to spending 3 hours sat in a maths classroom re-explaining everything the teacher said so she could understand. But the moment my mental health started to crack under the pressure I was feeling due to our somewhat unique circumstances, she relinquished any responsibility to her vows. Your mental health is your problem, not mine. You need to figure it out for yourself. It's not my job to look after you, etc. Yeah, but it is your vow, the same as it was mine, that we'd support each other, in sickness and in health. And when I'm saying, I'm terrified that our financial situation is going to break me, it's not your job to break me and keep reminding me how much money you spent on that one gift that one time. It is absolutely your responsibility to get up, get a job and help me support our life now.